proper entrepreneurs must constantly learn. Every single day we're learning.
But they're learning while their pants are on fire.
Yeah. We're
But
constantly
why
learning.
is that necessary? Why must our pants be on fire? What comes about by being on fire? Why must you be on fire?
Because that's the way I can learn.
What do you
Also.
mean? Well, you can't learn when your pants are not on fire.
Yeah, is because if I stay in the theory and I only in the whiteboard drawing and drafting my business plan,
Yeah.
I will not learn anything.
When will you learn?
When I jump into the unknown.
You said you were cash flowing negative.
At that time with a house, a little house, yes.
So to me, you were confronting some sort of impossibility. You were like, okay, I'm cash flowing negative. I have this 2-family house. You didn't sell it, right?
No.
You kept it, right?
I could have given the keys to the bank and walked back to Uruguay because at that time I didn't even have a green card yet.
So let me describe the situation. You're cash flowing negative. You're walking through the streets. You see a vision. That vision is aided by your education in Uruguay, right?
By being in the streets since I was very young. I was always walking on the streets.
That's the other part of it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that in a second. I'm talking about only architecture.
By the way, I'm with the suit today, but usually the people who know me, I might be with a hoodie or in jeans.
You should have came that way, but that's
Yeah.
up to you.
No,
Anyways.
I was in another meeting before, but
So that gave that education, being an architect, it produced, right? It produced the ability to have a vision in spite of the fact that you were cash flow negative,
yeah.
in spite of the fact that you had an accent, didn't have any money, right? In spite of all that, you said, I have this vision that it's going to get better. But the platelets to that vision was your education, partially, as you said.
Yeah, everything is partially because it's for everything and a lot of the decisions you are constantly making, whether a strategy or just one thing every day, there are many components. It's not only one source.
How did you confront that anxiety that you were feeling that you were cash flowing negative? I mean, let's not pretend you're cash flowing negative.
So,
and there is no Oculus in front of you.
The first thing is I was extremely frugal. I was living in a walk-up building. It was a rent stabilized. It was a 1-bedroom apartment that the apartment was
Slanted.
Because
so frugality.
Exactly. And while my friends were going and dining and spending cocktails and stuff like that, I had to think, okay, do I buy this cocktail or do I pay my mortgage?
Can I challenge you for a second, please?
Every day. I'm challenged every day. So
I want to challenge you on something. You said you traversed that impossibility and that anxiety by being frugal. That was one of there wasn't. But there has to be a purpose of why you did that frugality. I'll give you a good example. Yeah. We live for our children. I live for my children, a portion of it. There are other reasons, but just to make the point, we live for something. Your frugality was not for no reason. It was attached to something. What was it attached to? That vision.
Of course.
So tell me if...
Of course.
So a lot of people talk about that. They talk about, oh, I was frugal. You can hear 1,000 podcasts say that. Oh, I was frugal. I didn't spend a lot of money to get to here. But what was it attached to? I want to hear that. I want to hear that. Why were you frugal? For what purpose were you frugal?
Definitely to become a developer. I had a very clear that I could, and even in my personal situation, financial situation, that was the context was helping me in a way that going back to Uruguay and being just a middle class person, the context wouldn't. In other words, I even maybe as of today, I prefer being poor in New York City than middle class in Uruguay, Montevideo, where I was born. I could tell it that you could smell that the opportunities were there, that I could tell people about certain ideas and they were receptive. I found a cultural shock from where I was coming, extremely risk-averse culture
Uruguay.
in Uruguay, when suddenly someone I just met and I'm telling about my ideas, wait a minute, tell me more. And I said, okay, Americans are more risk-taken, and at least the environment I am, these people are listening to me. And by the way, my first investor was an American guy. And he then brought his father, invited his father because he first was motivated. And then suddenly I meet, and you meet them and you say, this is not going to be real. I didn't raise my first funds to buy my next 2-family house from South American network. It was from the US. That was for me, okay, this is it. If the investors want to know that you can prove that you know, that they can protect themselves legally in a certain way, right? And then if they are comfortable with the business plan, they go for it. And in Uruguay, my people may have to know my great grandparents to think if they were going to invest with me. And here you have someone who met me few times, liked what I was doing, liked my story, liked my what I knew, and suddenly, okay, I write you a check, $200,000. And that's how I started with another house. And what did I do? I also, from that time, I learned from my mistakes that I was underwater for my first mistake, and then I'm not making that mistake. I'm not making it again. Every time we are entrepreneurs, we will make mistakes because we have to measure and mitigate risk as we go in every decision we make. But I said, okay, this type of mistake, I'm not making it again. So by 2009, I was buying REOs, short sales. I went to auction and started buying. Suddenly, there is another one. Suddenly, I was able to find another family office manager, and suddenly we had like 50 houses that I was doing. And eventually, I said, wait a minute, taxi driver is overbidding me in an auction, and I think he may have the cash, but do you really know? I mean, I'm overbidded. I'm going out of this business, and I started going through ground up. And that's how the process was. So
the vision is not enough.
The context is key.
Environment.
Yeah.
So first step is to develop a vision.
Yes.
Second is to see it in
that
physical
you can
form.
implement.
Hold on. So first is to develop a vision. I want to build X. Then you have to see it in the physical world, correct?
Correct.
If I want to build unicorns and there's no unicorns, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and the environment doesn't help you to achieve those goals.
So 2 is people and environment. So vision, seeing the vision.
Correct.
Being in the environment. Mm-hmm. Being in the environment. And then executing on the people that implement.
Correct.
Tell me more about the development. Tell me how you've risen from vision to environment as an architect to now you consider yourself now probably a financier.
I'm an entrepreneur as a start.
Right.
I'm doing all the things. We have a small shop and lending for emerging developers. T4 Capital Partners. Is
for profit or not for profit?
For profit.
For profit. Okay.
Yeah. But we are helping emerging, like Diego's in the early stage when we were doing.
Why do you care about that?
Because we want to be. We think it's not only a financial instrument and therefore some profit to our network of investors, but also we want to be good with the developers that may need some mentorship, may need some help. We told one of the prospective borrowers, do you really see the problems you have in your construction documentation? we basically, before even that developer went out to close a construction loan, we told them, even if we don't give you the loan, but you will have a huge overrun. You don't have the cash and liquidity to pay for those shortfalls. You will enter into a big problem. And that was already a mitzvah in certain way. Like we help in certain way someone in nothing in return, and that was good. We may get a call back once they fix what we suggested that they should do. So first of all, I consider myself an entrepreneur. We are tomorrow there is an opportunity of doing other things related to what I know, real estate. Like for example, I'm not lending. I'm not lending on the corporate lending. I'm doing for construction or land for entitlement, things that we master, things that we know, things that we can underwrite properly as if we are working on another deal right now. I love that deal. I wish I were the borrower.
So Diego has a dictionary company, and the first word that he has to define is the word entrepreneur. Define it. Take a moment. What does entrepreneur mean in the dictionary?
I don't know.
Entrepreneur means?
I don't know. Entrepreneurs are risk-taken, are people.
People and are risk takers, yes. Despite the odds.
Yes, you know what? The proper entrepreneurs must constantly learn. Every single day we're learning.
But they're learning while their pants are on fire.
Yeah, we're constantly
But why
learning.
is that necessary? Why must our pants be on fire? What comes about by being on fire? Why must you be on fire?
Because that's the way I can learn.
What do you mean? But you can't learn when your pants are not on fire.
Yeah, is because if I stay in the theory and I only in the whiteboard drawing and drafting my business plan,
Yeah.
I will not learn anything.
When will you learn?
When I jump into the unknown.
But why must you jump into the unknown?
I have to jump into the unknown with certain strategy in place, because you cannot be otherwise you are a risk taking without any mitigating any risk. You have to have a boundary, a frame. You have to have a frame. You have to have a strategy. Like mine was or Portchester or Journal Square in Jersey City, or this lending platform for specific niche that I'm not competing with so many out there that are, I'm on below $10 million. You have a strategy and then you jump. And
so pants have to be on fire. You have to have a strategy, which is a vision, right? Idea, but doesn't guarantee anything, right? So
No.
you could have a vision. You could be in the right environment. You could be in the right environment. You have a vision. You have an idea. You're executing on it, but you can fail.
Yes. You can fail, of course.
It sucks being an entrepreneur.
Oh, and it's not easy, of course. I mean,
But what's the upside?
It's the gratification of achieving things. Look, for me, I will tell you one story. I was finishing a small building, 65 Newkirk. It's a 5-story, 30 units in Journal Square area. One of my first ones ground up. And it was summer. I was sitting outside with some people looking at the facade. Summer, as I said, a car passed by with a young lady driving in the back, a baby on the car seat, and windows down. She stops. I don't know if she saw me around, but she pointed at me and said, "I love that building." And she moved and she left. I said, okay, this was a great impact. A neighbor, I assume it was a neighbor that loved what we built, right? And so I like building things, building either a company and the lending platform or definitely the beauty of doing ground up development is that we can touch, we can feel. You can walk on the lobbies, you can walk in the amenity rooms, you can walk in the apartments that we build, and we are making an impact. You can walk on the streets that once were trash all over in our empty parking lot, and today vibrant with the retail. You make a huge impact in the community, not only the residents, but also in the community. And that is a great, and if we can at the same time make money to those who invest with us and follow our strategy, then it's a win-win.